everyone, and welcome to 30 Minutes Exploring Coaching, a platform where world-class coaches come and gather to share our insights and wisdoms on coaching and you. Today, I'm delighted to have with us here the founder of One Holistic Transformational Coaching, someone who encourage and support women through healing their emotional trauma or emotional pain, not forgetting also helping them to find their self-love and self-respect to ensure that they live life to the fullest. A proud mother of two, a certified meta-dynamic holistic transformational coach, a certified Reiki practitioner, and also a seasoned meditation guide. Wow, I can go on and on. But, well, I'm not going to do that. To prevent this, I will let her, our beautiful coach, Katie Skarupa, to share with us more about herself. Pass to you.
Thank you, Rami. That was a great wrap-up.
Yeah.
Thank you for such a lovely introduction, and very, very happy to be here with you and sharing with all the viewers about coaching and a little bit about myself and my own journey. And as a mother of two, I've had quite a lot of different experiences, and life has taken me through many ups and downs as well in my professional life and throughout my career. And I've really realized how important it is to be able to reflect who we are to the world. And I've also realized how what I was reflecting to the world was quite negative and dissatisfied and often very low, sort of sad energy. And when I looked deeply at myself, I realized that if I wanted everyone around me to see me as a better person, to feel happier around me, I actually needed to be that person. I needed to be the happy, more joyful person. But to be that, I needed to find it within myself. And that's how my journey towards meditation and Reiki and ultimately coaching started, is to realize, how do I radiate positive energy and love to those people around me, to my family, to my co-workers, to my children, rather than be the grumpy mom and the busy co-worker and the stressed out person that I was. So that's how it started for me, Rami.
Wow, beautiful. You seem to have a very colorful life, Coach Katie, which is very interesting. And with so many things on your plates, so many happenings in your life and all that, which I'm curious, what brings you to this beautiful journey of coaching, Coach Katie?
It feels like a calling to really share what I've learned. It's really about that. I've been on the roller coaster of going from the sort of dark feelings within myself, which ultimately I knew and I felt within me that could lead to depression and anxiety, because I was in a space of feeling really quite low within myself, real disempowered state of helplessness, and feeling very much the victim of the world and the person who just had to go and give. And I felt that there was just nothing left of me, and it was really quite a heavy space to be in. And I knew that I had to shift that. And once I did, and I went through the roller coaster, I took, for me to actually feel love and joy and happiness took a better part of 10 years. It's not an easy journey, and it's not a short journey. But now that I feel that I've overcome some of my fears, I've set stronger boundaries, I've found greater self-love and respect for myself, and I feel empowered and I don't feel like the victim. And all I really want to do now is just work out, how do I share this with others? How do I show other people who are stuck, who don't really know why they are feeling the way they're feeling, where the anxiousness is coming from, where the dissatisfaction with life and their work and their relationships, or even with themselves, is coming from, to be able to kind of point, to be in a sense like a road sign, to say, hey, you can do this. Like, there is a way. There is a way to feel better about yourself, to see more of who you are deeper on the inside. And my journey towards coaching is to be able to share that, and in a sense to be of service to others, to just, because I feel that whatever we feel within ourselves radiates out to everyone around us. And if every person radiated love and generosity and gratitude and positivity out to everyone around them, it would just ripple. It would be the ultimate ripple effect. So for me, it's like, yes, I want to be part of this ripple effect. I want to give that to others. And that's when my coaching journey started, because it's a very powerful tool with which to be able to share and help to transform behavior, mindsets, and the feelings that we have within ourselves about ourselves.
Yes, yes. Well, I hear you, Coach Katie. From what you share with us, to the beautiful audience out there, is that our inner world creates our outer world.
That's right. Yes.
Beautifully said. Well, I'm sure throughout your coaching journey, there seems to be a particular group of people that you mostly work with. Right? Could you share with us more on what type of group of people or the clientele that you have that you work mostly with, Coach Katie?
Well, for me, it's women. And often I find it's women who are pretty much in a similar point in life that I am, or that where I possibly was, at the point where you build a career, you have a great family, you have a relationship, you have all the sort of material things and the things in life that you are told you would need to make you happy. You have the car, the house, or whatever it may be, enough to kind of feel like I should be happy. This is what the world sort of said I will need to be happy. And yet on the inside, there is that emptiness. There is that sense of this perpetual dissatisfaction. It's like this itch that you just can't scratch. So it is women who feel that they've come a certain point in life and then ask the question, is that it? Is this, what I've been told? I've done what society's told me, or my parents, or my culture, or my conditioning has dictated would lead to a fulfilled and happy life. And yet I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. I'm dissatisfied. I'm feeling, lost and almost at the point of being stressed and leading towards anxiety or depression. So women who find themselves that they really need to reach out for more. And for me, when I was in that place, the big question for me was how and where. Where do I reach and how do I do it? And the how became mainly from the fact that I did buy a lot of books. I went out and I bought all the self-help books and I started reading the Eckhart Tolle's and a lot of, books on spiritual, from spiritual perspectives as well. And they had amazing messages in them, but I still didn't know how. It's like, yeah, that sounds great, but how? So this is my journey, is to share the what and the how with those women who are looking to find who they are on the inside, to feel more satisfied with who they are and how they're showing up in the world.
Yes, that's interesting, Coach Katie. Which brings me to, I'm sure there are a lot of women's audience or listeners out there today. Mm-hmm. And what you share is that, well, I'm sure a lot of them can resonate with what you shared just now. Like you're saying, you buy books, maybe you attend a couple of seminars or workshops and all that. But I'm sure a lot of them out there would have tried this before. They think that, well, it's so easy. Get a book, learn something, attend a workshop, finish, done. All my problems will be solved. My emptiness will be filled and I'll be living a fulfilling life. But from what I hear from you is that it's not really that case. Right? You need someone to work, right? To bring out the how, to go deep into that area. So how? By engaging a coach like you, Coach Katie, you can help those women out there to fill up this gap of emptiness in them.
Yeah, and indeed, and it is it is really about doing it with someone. To start with, it is about the connection with another human being, where we can actually just let out and share how we feel, what our frustrations are, just being able to verbalize it and say it out loud to someone that is there to hold space for you, to show love and non-judgment and confidentiality on all levels towards your journey and where you are in life, and to have someone to really honestly and open up to, and be able to say the things that you might not feel safe, emotionally safe or able, or sometimes restricted to say to, whether it is even your partner or your best friends. You don't want people to judge you or think things of you, or think that, you, and sometimes even when we do share with others that are close to us, we often get like, well, why are you feeling like that? You got everything you want. What's wrong with you? And in coaching, you don't get that space. You get a fully open, neutral space where you can share straight from the heart, and all your pains and anxieties, you can just lay them out there. But also, coaching is so much more powerful because you've got that connection with the coach. And it is, as you said before, Remy, it is what is on the inside, kind of radiates onto the outside. So, but often we can't see ourselves until we look in a mirror. And we can obviously look in a physical mirror, we can just see the reflection of our physical self. But when we look in the mirror of another human being who holds space for us, that person reflects to us the things that we sometimes can't see within ourselves. So it becomes this ultimate reflection of our behavior, even through the words that we use, the way we behave, how we communicate. And the coach is skilled through the trainings that we do to be able to pick up on that, and then to really call that out to the client and say, do you realize that you're doing this? Do you realize that this is how you're speaking to yourself or about yourself, or that this is what your behavior is? And the coach can really mirror that so that the client can actually see what it is that they're doing and how it is that they're actually showing up within themselves. So it is that beautiful reflection of the good and the bad and everything that shows up. And also what the coach does is obviously encourages change and encourages that transformation. And it's not an easy road, Remy. It takes commitment, and it takes a lot of emotional strength and will, and I think courage to do the work. In a sense, it is work, and it takes time. It's not an easy job to change or transform. You can't do it in a day. You can't do it by reading one book. You actually have to really dig deep within yourself and have the courage and the commitment to do it every single day.
Wow. There seems to be a lot of work to be done here.
It is, but the rewards are, to me, the rewards have been beyond my imagination. People say you'll feel lighter, you'll feel better, you feel happier, some of the anxiety will pass. And yes, you do, but there's so much more to it than that. To feel that real sense of aliveness and unconditional love for yourself, and from the bigger, I suppose, even from the universe, and it's within you and it's around you, to feel that unconditional love. I could actually really feel it. It is profound. It is honestly life-changing. And we all have it within us to feel it. We just need to be able to open up with courage and vulnerability, and have someone there to guide us, to be that road sign, to say, this is the way and this is how.
Yes. Well, I can resonate with what you shared just now. A very good point that you bring up. A coach is someone there like to mirror back to you, to reflect back to you how the way you talk, the way you language, the way you behave, and which is very interesting, which a lot of people that I work with also, one of the most fearful thing is to see their own reflection.
Yes.
Me too, right? In the beginning, I was so scared to see my own self, how I behave, how the way I talk, how the way my mood swing and my emotions and all that. So actually, what a coach can do, in fact, it's a very, very important role, mirroring back to those who fear to feel and see themselves. That's a great work that a coach can do, Coach Katie.
It is. It's very powerful to have that mirror, and it is not easy to look at ourselves. Often, a lot of people will feel maybe the dissatisfaction, anxiety, the stress, the sort of the darkness within us, but still avoid looking at ourselves more deeply, because it is challenging to look at oneself, because we don't just see the things we want to see. Sometimes we see the things we don't want to see about ourselves, but those are actually such gifts to be able to see those things, that, you know, even the things we don't want to see, because when we see them, we become aware. But the awareness is not there for us to be critical or feel bad about ourselves. The awareness of those behaviors are there so that we can choose to shift them. We can choose to make different changes in our lives. We actually have choice, and that's what it gives us. It gives us choice. And when we choose, you know, we have free will to choose all the time. But if we don't have awareness, we can't exercise our free will of choice. We need to be aware of what our choices are so that we can then make choice with full awareness consciously, rather than be kind of going on autopilot and hiding from our own shadows.
Yeah, which brings me to the saying of we always have choices, which
Yes.
we have forgotten that we always have choices. Yeah.
That's right. And often I think, you know, the world that we live in, it doesn't always want us to see what our choices are, because they, you know, I think in a general sense, we kind of, you know, whether it is through, you know, even from the materialistic point of view, you see, you know, advertising and marketing just kind of dictating to you, this is what you should have. And that's why you know, I was in that position where it's like, yeah, you get the car, the house, the whatever it is, and, you know, you buy the whatever, you know, the 5 extra pairs of shoes more than you need, and you think, oh yeah, you know, I've got those things, I should feel good, because that's what it dictates to us. That's our choices. That's what the choices you have. So, but then you realize that, hold on, am I really making these choices? Are they really my choices? And they're not really giving me what I've been told or what I expect them to give me. So what is happening here? And then I realized how much of the choices that I make are actually not really my choices at all. They're just choices I think are my choices. But deep down inside, I didn't have the awareness to realize that there is more to it. That I need to be able to see where my choices are being, deep within myself, where my choices can be. And that awareness is profound.
Yeah. In fact, from what I hear from you is that a lot of us still make choices throughout our day. It's just that those choices are not ours.
That's right. They are not our choices. And you know what? It doesn't mean, and I've got a little bit stuck on the thinking that, oh, if I know that I'm choosing absolutely everything, then I can never choose anything that's not good for me, such as, you know, I will have the extra glass of wine or whatever at dinner, and I think, oh, I shouldn't have, because, you know, it's probably not good to have, you know, 2 glasses instead of 1 or whatever it may be, or, you know, have that extra piece of chocolate. But then I go, hold on, it's actually my choice. And I, you know, whether I have that extra piece of chocolate or whatever it may be, it is my choice. It's not because I'm doing it from an addiction point of view. It's like, I need to have that extra, you know, it's a subconscious automatic behavior. I'm just going to have that, and I'm not even realizing I'm doing it. So it's a lot of mindfulness around that. So I'm aware that I'm making the choice, and I can still have that. It's like, I shouldn't, but I will. But I know I'm making that choice, and it is my choice. It's not a choice that's dictated to me. So I make, you know, choices that sometimes may not be best for my health by having maybe an extra piece of chocolate or 2, but I still have the conscious awareness that I'm making those choices.
Oh, very interesting. A very good word that you just mentioned just now, conscious awareness. So in what way a coach, right, can help a client, right, who reach out to you, how to encourage women or even anyone who reach out to you, right, from all walks of life to expand their conscious awareness? How can a coach help them?
Oh, a coach has, well, to start with, many tools, many tools in our belt to be able to reflect and mirror those behaviors and those changes, and really that's what a conscious awareness comes from, is when you see it and have it mirrored to you. And it's not really by me mentoring or pointing fingers and sort of saying, hey, look, that's what you do. But it's really about asking really amazing questions that lead to those aha moments where we within ourselves go, oh, hey, actually, that's what I do. Wow. Because it is through those self-realizations that the coach guides the client to actually have within themselves, that the behavior is actually revealed to us within us. It's not the coach that points and says that's what you do. The coach asks the questions that allows the client to see it within themselves and have those realizations, those deeper aha moments, and they can feel within themselves where their choices are, and then become aware of, through the realizations of where it is that all the little parts that they haven't actually seen that are dictating who they are on a daily basis.
Wow. Yeah. What about those who feel that they have a lot of unheard voices inside them, or messages that they would like to voice out, and sort of like they can't seem to find a space for that? So in what way, by engaging you as a coach, well, I'm sure there are a lot of women out there that feel that, how come I was not being given a space to voice out what is inside me? How come I don't matter? How can a coach help them, Coach Katie?
Oh, Remy, it's really just listening. It is such a powerful tool, just to be able to hold a space and listen with love and from the heart, and to be able to trust that everything that the client brings to the table is important, is powerful, is it is them, to just really hold the space and listen. It is such a powerful space to actually be fully heard, and to build that level of trust where you can just fully open. And it is just such a deep non-judgment space, and it is really a space where there's love held for the client, for every emotion, without any sort of shock or surprise. It's just love. So it doesn't matter what the client brings to the table. It's all approached with deep listening and care and compassion and love and empathy. And it's not a space that we find often in our lives, even with our loved ones, to find a space where we can actually really sit down and have someone be fully empathetic, loving, and listening deeply and consciously to us for an hour or two, or whatever it takes, is not something that happens to us often in our daily life. So to be able to have this space where the coach hold that space and deeply listens with the empathy and the compassion that we often don't get on a daily basis, is allows that voice that we hold back just to be kind of freed.
Yes. Well, which brings me to another group. Since you're mentioning about the boys, it seems like you're giving, brightening up their hopes and faith in their life. What? There's another group. What if they come to you that say, Coach Katie, I can't seem to see any lights within me or at the end of the tunnel. Right? My world seems so dark and all that. How can you enlighten this group of people that reach out to you, Coach Katie?
I mean, it's with love. It's love is the most powerful force in this universe. And when you hold space and empathy and love for exactly how they're showing up, even for the darkest parts within us, and it is really about showing love for the darkest parts within that are there, and being able to hold space and love for that. Because really, to lighten any dark, you need to hold the love, because the love is actually what lights up. But it is the love and the empathy and compassion that brings light towards those dark moments, and towards even when there is no light to be seen, in that darkness, when we bring that love, it just lights it up. When you bring that awareness, it creates love. It enlightens, literally, because the minute you're aware, you're already starting to see that there's more to it, and you already start to kind of realize what it is that that is holding you back, and that in itself is part of the enlightenment. But it is a step-by-step process, and the more of the work that you do, the closer you kind of get towards the light as you move through the tunnel of the darkness. And the light is all within us. It's all in there. So it's a matter of the coach bringing that out and showing it to the client that it's all already there.
Which brings me, I'm curious, has this light within has anything to do with a self-love a person has?
Self-love, self-respect, self-compassion, self-worth. Something that I have to say, probably 10 years ago, I didn't have much of in my life. I didn't have that for myself. I couldn't feel that for myself. And often I would have big breakdown moments of tears on the kitchen floor and in the shower and many other places where I just didn't understand why the world was so hard, why life was so hard, why everything was just difficult. Why, I couldn't be respected or loved or have that empathy in my life that I really desired. And it's only when I started looking deeper within myself and started finding that for myself, then I realized, as you said before, is that what is within me radiates outside of me. I needed to find self-love and self-compassion for myself and self-worth and respect, because otherwise I wouldn't bring that into my life. And now I find so much of that coming from all directions, so many beautiful people around that are finding, that are showing me that I am worthy, that I am respected, that I do belong, and things I could never feel because I didn't feel those for myself. So that has been really profound to find that within me, and hopefully help others find it within themselves.
Thank you for being such vulnerable, Coach Katie. Right? Through my coaching journey, I also discovered that how much deep a person that's willing to go in terms of vulnerability is how much a person can grow.
Yeah.
Right? It's like having the first step is having the awareness. Mm-hmm. Push away the denial. Well, I'm having this problem. Without that, you can't move forward.
That's right. So first, if you have the awareness that there is an issue, and often I find in life is that people don't really reach that point, and I know I didn't until you kind of at the what I call to be sort of on the knife's edge, when you're standing on that edge of I'm about to fall into the deep dark hole when I might not see any light right now, and to me that kind of looked like a really deep depression, and you're standing on that knife's edge. And then the awareness came in. He said, "Do I really choose this? Am I really, I've felt in such a low place that life pushed me to the point that I had to kind of almost fall on the floor crying, in tears, on a probably regular basis, because I couldn't see that before. I actually felt I was okay until I realized I wasn't. And then that pushed me. And from that point, that moment of awareness sparked a choice, that choice of being on that knife's edge. Am I going to jump into the depression, or am I going to do something about this? And for me, it was meditate and, do some Reiki, and then eventually seek help through coaching too, because I've had amazing coaches help me as well. And being on that knife's edge was a real huge awareness moment of choice. Am I going to have the courage to do something about this, or allow the darkness to swallow me up?
Wow. I love what you shared. Well, be mindful of the time, Coach Katie. Before we wrap up our beautiful session here, if there's one key message that you would like our beautiful audience out there to have, what would your message be, Coach Katie?
My message is quite simple, Remy. It is that you matter. Every one of you, every one of us, we matter. And you matter. And your light matters. And your life matters. So the message is feel that for you, feel that you matter. And if you don't feel it deeply within yourself right now, allow a coach to help you to feel that you matter, because you do.
Well said. Thank you, Coach Katie. Well, to all our beautiful souls out there who are tuning in today, if you feel that you can resonate with what we discussed or share about just now, and you feel that you have some challenges in your life at this moment, you're not alone. As Coach Katie said, you matter. So feel free to reach out to any one of us here through our emails and links can be shown on the video here below. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Till our next session on 30 Minutes Exploring Coaching. Thank you and bye-bye.